Hi, welcome to Photoshop Basic Training, brought to you by 7tutors.com. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the text tool and filter in Photoshop. Now let's say you're working on an image and you want to add some cool text to it, like your name or a cool, title or something. Now the text tool is what you use. And the text tool is very similar to other text editing software like Microsoft Office or Open Office. So you can adjust the font size, you can set the font color, you can set the font family, and you can do many more things with it. Alright, so we're going to be looking at how to use that right now. Okay, so to illustrate how the text tool works, we're going to be creating a new document. So we'll come up here to the menu bar, click on File, click on New, and then we'll just leave everything the way they are, but we'll change the name. We'll call this text document and click OK. Now on the tool palette, on the vector tool group, that is where we will find our text tool. Now when we click this icon here, you can see that the cursor has changed, meaning you can just click anywhere and create a text. So we'll just click in the center or at the edge there, and we'll just type in 7tutors.com, and there you have it. Simple as that. You have created text. Now you'll notice that when you created your text, a new layer appeared on the layer palette for that text. Whenever you create a new text, a new layer is created for it. Now let's say you have multiple layers just for text. You can apply a different effect to each layer so it doesn't affect the other layer. So it makes it easy for you to manipulate just specific text of your choice. But we're going to be coming up here to the option bar and we'll be looking at the various settings. Now from here you can adjust the font family. As you can see that this is looking a little bit big, so we'll just highlight that. And when we click on this arrow here, we have a list of various fonts and their examples. Now this is very cool because it allows you to know what it's going to look like before you apply it to your layer. So if you are working on maybe some really cool action image, you can make use of the action movie. Or if you're maybe working on a Chinese restaurant flyer or something, you can use the stakeout. So we'll just keep this simple. We'll just use Arial. I like Arial. Okay, make this simple, and then you can adjust the font size from here. So as you can see, we're using 14. You can click down here and select from here, or you can just click on the icon here and drag to the left or to the right. Now we have the font style. With the font style, you can change your text to whatever look you want it to have. So we're using regular. You can make it italic, or you can make it bold or bold italic. So depending on what you want. So we'll just take this back to regular. But if you notice that some text do not have the font style, so if you are using certain text, the font style will not be available. And then here we have the alignment tool. From here you can align your text either to the left, you can make them centered, or align them to the right. You can also change the color, so you can make it a little bit lighter and click OK. Now in Photoshop you can create warped text, and that is what this icon here does. And when you click on it, you can see none. Then you can click the arrow and you can have the list of all the various effects that you can add, or various styles you can add to your text. So we'll just drag this over here so we can see our text clearly. When you click down, you can see we have the arc that made it, to go up, down, or we have the shell lower, and we have the shell upper. So whatever you you're looking for, you can just select it from the style list here, or fish, and then you can change the bend. You can adjust the options here. Maybe if you want it to come all the way to the other side, you know, the distortions, just go ahead and experiment, and whatever you're looking for, once you get it, you just leave it like that. But we're not going to apply any of these, we'll just cancel that out. So that is how you apply text to an image. Very simple. I'd just like to go further and illustrate how you can also manipulate the layers to get some real cool effect. So create more text. So select this, now select this again. I'll just type in coming soon, and then we'll select show transform controls, and then we'll reduce the size of it. You can also reduce the size from the options on the text tool, but we'll just reduce it from here, and then we'll move it and place it right above. Okay, and then we apply it. Let's change the color to looking a little bit light, so we'll just make this, give it a darker color. Okay, now as you can see, we have our text here, and we have the layer, and the coming soon layer is above the 7tutors.com layer. So what we'll do is we'll drag the 7tutors layer above the coming soon layer. Now you can see it seems nothing has happened, but if you move the layer, now you will notice that the 7tutors is above the coming soon. So if you scale this one up, you can give it this you can scale it up and give it this sort of 3D effect to it. And then you can add some shadows to make it look like it's resting against a surface or something. Oh, and if you notice that the text tool also has an arrow that if you click on it, it will provide you some other options. Now we have the horizontal type tool, and that is what we just illustrated, but it also gave us the vertical type tool, which allows us to create vertical text. So if you click on an empty space, you can type and it will appear vertically. So we have vertical. So you can have an image here, and you can have your text here appearing vertically, or you can have another text. You can have another text appearing horizontally by this side, depending on what you're going for. So just be creative and experiment, and you'll be able to get the effect you're looking for. Okay. Now the filter is a built-in tool in Photoshop now that allows the user to manipulate his pictures or images in whatever way he chooses to. With the filter, you can apply some really cool effects to your images. So let's say you want to have a blur effect. You can use the filter to generate a blur. You can, have some brush strokes, or you can just have some, real cool effects on your images. And we're looking at that very briefly in this lesson. So we're going to be applying some effects to our text layer here, and to do this, we'll select our layer. We'll come up here to the menu bar and select filter. Now you can see we have a whole lot to choose from. We have liquify, for example, that allows us to remove unwanted areas of from our image with a colorful swirl. We can also use the artistic filter that gives us that artistic flair to a simple image. You can also change the look and feel of an image by adding a text filter or effect. So just experiment, keep choosing something, make your choice, whatever you're comfortable with, until you get the effect you're looking for. Now before we apply an effect to this layer, we're going to duplicate this layer first. Now the reason why we do this is so that we can maintain the original layer just in case our effect doesn't go right. So we'll just call this okay, and then we're going to apply a blur effect to this layer. So we'll come up here to filter, and then we'll choose blur, and we'll choose Gaussian blur, rasterize. Okay, now as you can see, it has given us a window. From here we can preview our work and adjust the settings. So if you move the slider to the left, it reduces the radius, and you can preview it here in this window. If you move it to the right, it increases the radius, and as you can see that our text is all blurred out. So we're just going to make this, let's see, 3.5 so that we can see the text. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it 4. Okay, and then we click OK. But you can't see any changes here. Now this is because the layer is a little bit faint and the layer beneath it is showing clearly. But if we adjust the blending mode to blend this layer above it with the layer beneath it, you will see that it will look a whole lot different. So we'll just use exclusion. As you can see, it has given us this inverted look, and then you can reduce the opacity to reveal the layer beneath it. So if we just make this 75, you can see it has this sort of mixed color here, if that is the effect you're going for. Okay, let's just leave this at 67. And you can add more effects to that layer or to a different layer. So let's add an effect to the layer beneath it. So we'll just change the look and feel of the 7 tutors beneath that. So we'll come to texture, and then we'll choose grain, rasterize. Then you can choose from whatever options are available. Okay, let's leave it at this. You can adjust the intensity, you can adjust the contrast. So you just play with the options available. You can change the grain type. So we'll change this to sprinkles, and then we'll click OK. And as you can see, it has changed the layer. So that is how to apply a filter to a layer. Also, we have what we call layer styles in Photoshop. And with the layer styles, you can apply a glow effect or a drop shadow effect to a particular layer or an image. So we'll select our coming soon layer, and then what we'll do is we'll just scale this layer up. So we'll scale this up, place it here. Okay, that looks good. Then we'll just shut off our transform controls. Now, to apply a layer effect, we'll come down here to the layer palette and we'll click on the FX icon. And when you click it, it gives you a list of all the available layer styles. So we're just going to apply a drop shadow, and then when you click on it, it gives you a new window. Now from this window you can adjust the options, or you can select other layer styles. You can click on outer glow, you can apply an outer glow or an inner glow, and you can see that as you select new layer styles, you can preview them here, and you can also see the way it changes here. And then you can just increase or decrease. Let's increase the distance of our drop shadow, and then you can adjust the angle. Okay, so it seems like the light is coming from this direction, or I can take it in the other direction. Take it up a bit. That's good. You can also change the color. You can change this to red or whatever color. So we'll just leave this here. Click OK. So this has been Photoshop Basic Training, brought to you by 7tutors.com. Bye.